Keemstar, please tell that Pokimane bitch what? If she thinks her career is gonna last longer than mine's a fucking idiot. I will be here till the day you retire, bitch. What the fuck? Bro, you are literally 45 years old. Like, isn't Keemstar 45 years old? Like, goddamn, bro. What are you doing? You're calling like a 25-year-old Twitch streamer a bitch, dude. What is wrong with you? Have a daughter, homie. What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Someone needs to tell Keemstar that when he's 45 and is like trying to fuck 18-year-olds, that doesn't mean he's like, that doesn't mean he can fucking speak that way. Aren't you 40? I mean, I'm gonna be, but you don't see me fucking talking this way, right? When I call someone a bitch, it's usually fucking Tucker Carlson or some shit, not like fucking Pokimane. I'm 30. I know that a lot of people love saying like, oh, bro, you're fucking, Hasan is 48 years old and like, thirst traps like a fucking teenage e-boy or whatever, but... All right, let's see what this is.
Like good example. I mean, I don't want to make too much drama on stream, but like call me Carson, right? People said, "Oh man, like he got canceled." I mean, he didn't get canceled.
He canceled himself.
You literally just stopped posting.
Yeah.
Stop posting. You're not canceled.
Well, I would say that's being canceled. Like when it's so bad that you like dip for a year or two.
Okay, it being bad, technically.
This is gonna be an interesting conversation because like you have two people that I think do a way better job than myself individually, who also have a fuckload of haters. XQC obviously does not have as many haters as Pokimane and does not have as many haters as I do, and they're not as dedicated, because the type of content and commentary he creates is like just usually in line, even if his own personal point of view and his politics might not be. The type of content that he fucking creates and pumps out is like in line with those deranged fucking weirdos. Like he's accessible, right? He is definitely like very broadly accessible to a lot of people, even if they fucking hate Gamba streams and they hate him because he's doing a Gamba stream, right? But he also has a fuckload of like really vicious psychopathic stalkers, just like we all do. The reason why I'm saying that is because despite all of that, he does a really good job of dealing with it. Okay. He does a really good job of dealing with it. I do the worst at dealing with it in comparison to Poki and XQC, but we all have our own like vicious brand of like sick freaks. Okay. Did someone broke into his old house? Dude, I know. Guys, he was literally living with me for like, a week. I know. I'm familiar with what happened in his life. I think you don't have to tell me in the chat. Like, what are you talking about? What, you think I don't know? I mean, why do you think he was with me? Anyway, listen. But ultimately, okay, he does a really good job because he doesn't fucking respond to trolls as much as I do. And his trolls don't like cut fucking YouTube essays. Okay? His trolls don't cut fucking YouTube essays about him like being like the truth about XQC and why he's a grifter or whatever, right? But with Pokimane and I have like similar types of haters where they literally make money and a fuckload of content and commentary off of just like writing negative shit about her, even if it's all a fucking lie, right? Even if it's all completely a lie. XQC will literally just get a fuckload of hate for toxic shit that he does and pops off, you know what I mean? Like whether it's GTRP or whatever. But he's the only person I've ever seen that has been able to ride the negative wave and say fuck all the haters and thrive as a consequence of that. I've never seen anybody else be able to fucking surf on the backs of his haters as well as he does. So he, in my opinion, is the best at farming angry haters and still coming out on top. You know what I mean? He's incredibly good at it. I would say he's the best at it. That's why he gets 70,000 people watching him. Half of that chat is fucking despising him, and they're like, "You fuck you, you're despicable." But he's able to farm him non-fucking stop. right? I break down when I have an overwhelming amount of fucking haters. XQC farms haters well without becoming a lolcow. Also, yeah, exactly. He does a really good job of farming the haters. Because his community has like blind loyalty to him, and also because he doesn't respond. He doesn't let it get to him, I think, in some ways. Right. So I really respect him for doing that. And same with Pokimane, who has a fuckload of haters too. More similar to me. Like her haters are more similar to my haters. Right. And people do make like videos about her being like the truth about Pokimane, like she's awful or whatever the fuck, right? In the same way that dude, your haters are dedicated as fuck though. I've had fucking weirdos in my DMs or even being in your chat. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we have more pathological and more obsessed ones. I think we have more pathological and more obsessed haters because one, she's been the top female content creator on the space for like a very long time. She's the face of Twitch. So obviously there's like a lot of fucking weirdo psychos who are like pathological in the way that they like obsess over her and everything that she does and like tries to try to bastardize everything that she does to be like, oh, she's bad. Look at that. Like she, and the same for me as well for my politics, right? XQC had to stop hosting rating people for a while because of his chat. Yeah, I know. I mean, but there's a reason why I don't host and raid everyone and I only host and raid specific people. Yes, because that is true. No matter what happens, like, think about it this way. I bet yours and Poki's hater overlap is massive. Conservatives and capitals hate you just for being socialists. Those same conservative incels hate Poki for just being a woman. Exactly. No, for sure. When I started watching you had dudes in here tracking the time you and Poki were offline. Yeah, there's like a lot of psychos. Anyway, so I wonder if that crazy incel sexist dude we listened to Saturday has a video on her. Yes, he does. But even then, she deals with them better than I do as well, where she just literally does not respond to it. Or if she's going to respond to haters, like she will literally make like a big. She is able to stop the flood of commentary by responding to it one time and then never again. And I really respect her for dealing with it appropriately. And does a really good job overall. Like she doesn't give a shit that there's like constantly people writing fucking essays about being like Pokimane breathed differently today. What the fuck? Right? He never responds for the most part. He never responds or literally will double down and fucking ride the wave. She doesn't usually respond, but when she does, it's like a one-off. And then on the third rung, I have myself, who does it in the absolute worst way possible, where I'm constantly responding and constantly addressing and not just doing it one time to point to that one-time thing that everyone could just point to be like, this is the addressal of all the haters. Shut the fuck up. Go watch it there. Stop talking about it. So, there's definitely so much more that I need to learn from my fellow content creators and the way that they deal with their fucking haters and farm them and shit. So I am aware of it. Like I'm self-aware and I try to stop myself. And it's like it sucks. And it takes forever. Then you're sad for the rest of the day. Yes. So that's what I was gonna say is that I let it get to me. And that's the point. And then it cucks the content and it makes it awful. And I give personal responses to each and every hater's post. Exactly. Like, it's just not great. Chatters, whenever they get your attention anyway, I captivated the guy who captivated 1,000 guys. So yeah, that's part of the problem. That's part of the process. It is what it is. But let's see what they had to say. XQC's right though. And so is Pokimane. XQC's right that like in this day and age, you don't really like get quote unquote canceled. You cancel yourself basically. And Iman is right when she says, well, technically people driving you off the internet is what we consider to be a cancellation. So it's still usually up to you and how you deal with it. Okay. Like what makes a cancellation is like how you deal with it. And people rarely ever like get full-blown canceled, right? Unless they've done something that's like, canceled by the government, canceled by the federal government for, violating laws. But other than that, like, it's rare that you let people fucking go buck wild on you and then, you know, and drive yourself off the internet ultimately.
I think is a matter of perspective.
Canceled has become such an over.
I think the hardest thing for you is that you were completely able to tolerate conservative Nazis that hate you. But when it started coming from the left, that's when it got to you. So in a sense, I think Poki and XQC haters are still different from yours, if that makes sense. Oh, 100%. That's it. That's what kills me. That's absolutely what it is. It's people that like are supposed to be my allies and supposed to see the world in the same way that I do that fucking turn around and they're like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, you're a villain. That's what kills me. It literally fucking kills me. It's like a fucking gut punch. It's like being stabbed in the fucking heart every time. Every time. Because there's a broader consequence of that. Because it's a constant reinforcement that like, it's a constant reinforcement of the attitude that like the left is cannibalizing itself once again, or people who would otherwise become like more progressive by being open-minded are turning around and thinking like, fuck this guy. I don't give a shit. I get shit on by the conservatives regularly. It sucks. I get death threats. You know, they fucking harass me, whatever. Again, that, dude, come on. Yes, we're all getting paid. Okay. We're all getting paid in this cycle. Okay. That doesn't try to focus on a broader point that I'm trying to make here. I'm not saying I'm not getting paid, please. Like your input in this situation does not, you know, it's not warranted. I was watching another streamer the other day and one of their chatters said they hate you because no one should be rich when you're a socialist. Yeah, I mean, that too. XQC used to be super hated in the early watch days because he was toxic as fuck in his controversies. Now he's the most loved streamer on the planet. Cancellations only matter if you let them. Yeah. Feels like it's that the left falls in love thing. People find a thing that they feel so strongly about, even if they agree with you on most things, they go against them on one thing they're strangely passionate about. You're done. Yeah, it's annoying, but viewer reading chat. 90% of all viewer listeners only know of something when you specifically answer it. Only know of opposition or goofiness because you reference it, leading to more or less confident in your take. Evidence versus none. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, and as far as the payment goes, like, look, at the top of the hour, I serve a 60-second ad break. I'm sure that is, you know, controversial for many. And if you no longer want to see those ads, well, then, you know, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5. You can do that for free with a Twitch Prime, you know. And that's the way to get an uninterrupted broadcasting experience. Or you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 1 minute ad break now, you know. Twitch Prime is free as long as you connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Or Bill Vog. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Or you get a gifted sub from Bill Vog. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Okay.
Overused and shitty term that it no longer has a definition.
You're not wrong.
What the fuck does it even mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. With how much shit people get, I think if you put a good amount of creators in my position, when they start, if you make them go live now and they play a video game, right? They would probably say that, yeah, they'd stop streaming and they'd say, yeah, I got canceled because the chat is shitting on them. Like, if I play a game, okay,
yeah,
all I get in chat is so bad, so dog shit, garbage, and quit the game.
I mean, he's right. That's it. He's right about that, by the way. I mean, totally. Like, the dynamic between streamers and their community usually is like, even if it's a loved one, it's still a negative one. You know what I mean? To the outsider, that's why Grimes, who is by no means a normal person, looked at the sea of chat and thought, you have a mental illness for doing this. And she's right. I don't think she's wrong about that. And, you know, that's fucking Grimes. Do you think about that? She's right. Because to the outside world, the dynamic between like me and my community looks like I'm just getting fucking relentlessly shit on, right? And even though like I understand the memes and I understand where they're coming from, and it's the same with XQC, like if you address the actual negative takes, then it just turns into like something so much worse. Especially when there are outside communities that take advantage of the sea of like supposedly negative commentary and turn it into like actual negative commentary.
They get nothing but that in the chat, right? Because that's just what they say, you know? So in my perspective, it's like normalized, like it's just like a funny joke. But for somebody else, it'd be like, cheese. So I think it kind of depends.
When you post shit or see stuff about yourself, do you ever see like random
I have to pee, I'll be back,
threads
1
or
second.
hate comments or like clusters of people disliking you or saying like,
Fuck, this is really
that
good
guy
shit,
that
though.
Times.
used to say slurs and this and
Oh
that.
no,
Real
that's
quick.
funny. I think that's so funny.
Really? Or like, do you ever see that? I kind of can't tell because I feel like you have such a big, dedicated community. I don't often see XQC haters,
Well,
but maybe I'm just like blind to them. I don't know.
okay, well, I think
R/slash
when I make a
buddies.
mistake, and I correct it and move on, I know what I stand for, and I'm not afraid of going live and just talking for hours, right? Because I know that I'm not like, I don't have terrible ideas, and none of them's gonna slip through the cracks. Oh my god, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this on stream, right? So I don't have to cover my tracks. I don't have to. Whenever people come up and it's like, oh, dude, I'm gonna pull up what he said last time, and I'm gonna got him. I think it's so funny.
Got him.
Because it's just like Keemstar when he pulled out the article, and like, dude, we know this. We
Oh
see
my god,
this.
wait. Can I just say, when you replied to Keemstar,
Yeah.
you fucking buried him. Like, me and my friends were talking about it like it was a national holiday. Like, guys, today, the gnome's career has ended due to this.
And then
The magnitude of the ratio, I cannot even mathematically calculate. It was just out of this freaking world.
yeah, you get kind of smoked, and then you know
Truly.
what's crazy though? And then they kept bringing more and more. I don't know if you just remember.
No.
He kept doing more tweets about me or whatever.
Really?
But then I didn't reply to any of them because the reality is that the main point is dispelled, right? So whatever he comes with next, I don't. It's the same mentality. People.
Dude, he's right. He's 100% right, dude. That's it. Like, you come in one time, you pop off, and then you never respond ever again, and then it's over. It dies down, it goes away. But if you fucking do respond endlessly and non-fucking stop, then you're making more fucking commentary, and you're feeding an entire cycle. Also, but there is a difference, though. I'm gonna be honest. The difference between like me and someone like XQC is that XQC doesn't have like entire communities. Like me and Pokimane have entire communities dedicated, like other content creators and their own communities literally dedicated to cutting content and commentary. So there's like a self-reinforcing cycle. Whereas with XQC, someone like Keemstar is not gonna fucking, someone like Keemstar has more people in his fan base that like XQC than they like Keemstar. You know what I mean? But he's right though. He's right as far as like not responding to the fucking psychos, the psychotic haters. If I hadn't, like, in Ethan has a lot of fucking haters too in a similar way. Like if you are literally just a like if you're functionally on the left politically on the internet, like you're gonna get people up your fucking dick hole nonstop. And it's not just going to be right wingers, okay? There's gonna be other leftists who are up your dick hole like a goddamn little worm, okay? Just like crawling into your penis hole and trying to eat you from within. Really fucked up and really weird. Leftists want to be cool in punk rock, and now you're too mainstream for them to admit liking you. That's another part of it too. Like they want to be fucking hipsters, and they're annoying as shit when they're like, but that's different. That's like, who cares? The Kevil's hate is so fucking bizarre on Twitter. No, it's not, dude. It's not. She had a fucking quick boom bust cycle. That's it. She blew the fuck up really quickly. And when she did, of course, immediately people were like, all right, she popped off. Now I hate her. Because a lot of people are ideologically unsound, okay? They do not have like moral consistency. They only like leftist politics from the point of view of aesthetics, okay? They don't think about it beyond that. So then, aesthetically speaking, if you pop off, then boom, you're bad. You're fucking bad. You're successful. That is how deeply ingrained anti-socialist rhetoric is in this fucking country and on the planet, okay? Socialism lost. It took a fat fucking L. And ever since then, because of Red Scare propaganda and because of capitalist dogma so deeply fucking ingrained in every facet of our society, we literally have people who think they're fucking leftists unironically respond in the most reactionary ways possible to leftist leaders or leftists that actually fucking pop off. Okay? It's purely spike driven, and it's basically just using any kind of like criticism that has existed since day one, that they're just unwillingly and inadvertently bringing up. Okay. There was a point when I was kind of paying attention to socialist MMA and they went mask off on you and exposed their grift. Yeah. Like, I'll be real. I legitimately think this. Like, this is gonna fucking piss people off, but there are few content creators out there. I mean, there are content creators out there who are further to the left than me, I guess, if that's like a real dynamic on the spectrum, but not a lot. Okay, definitely not a lot. And I think I do a pretty good job of like having a reasoned and balanced approach to the way I cover politics, and that's part of the reason why a lot of Twitter hammer and sickle weirdos will turn around and be like, Hasan is a fucking social democrat. Like, he's just a social democrat. It's like, shut the fuck up. We're not effective. I'm sorry. You might be a great community organizer or whatever in your local community, but you're not good at like covering a broad spectrum of news from the point of view of like a progressive person that is making leftist politics accessible. Like, you're not doing it. You're not doing a good job. I'm sorry. It's cringe. Leftism is really fucking cringe, or the leftists oftentimes are really fucking cringe, except for the leftists that I like and promote all the time. So, I just think the leftist community isn't welcoming and find joy in not engaging in incremental change. Yeah. So ultimately, all of that stuff is just noise, and I just wish people would, take a deep breath and just stop focusing on that sort of stuff, because to the outside world, to the uninitiated, and that is the broad majority of normal human beings on this planet, the only way we come across as leftists are cringe, annoying, woke scolds who can't shut the fuck up and want to suck the joy out of every single thing. That is what being a leftist is about, unfortunately. And since day one, what I've tried to do is fight back against that. And I know that we all have those urges inside because we want to build the best possible universe, okay? From a point of view of empathy. But it's really, really difficult to just, not center yourself in this dynamic and try to understand that, like, it's also important to show your best face forward. Right? There's also this too. Spike driven, I thought socialism took an L, like you just said. Socialism did take an L. Good take. You're only good at propaganda. You will never organize anything meaningful. True. You got clapped by CW, though. Like, this person is mentally unwell, right? 7-month subscriber, clearly has a lot of mental issues, okay? And it manifests itself. I hope you get better. I'm going to give you a day off, okay? Maybe take some time off, okay? Or if you're going to be here, just get better. It's not good for you. Like, the way you understand the world currently is just making you very angry, and you're lashing out on whatever you can. I mean, we all have mental issues. Obviously, we're all managing it, though, right? But you're not managing it appropriately if you're doing that. So. Anyway. Imagine getting clapped by a garbage network like CW. No, that person is talking. That person probably watches a lot of like social democratic YouTube essayists and thinks that like Christian Walker made 0 good points, but thinks that like he owned me in debate or something. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. Anyone who got that takeaway is close to being unsalvageable, and is unfortunately they're just too malleable and do not have their own worldview or their own perspective. It's malleable to like what other people say about content creators. And the only way, why are you faking a deep voice, lol? Neurodetergent. I have COVID. I don't know if you know this. That's why my voice is the way it is. I'm still testing positive for COVID. I don't know if you know that. I have COVID. All right, let's continue.
People know about this. You're not gonna get me. And he just looks like this like you know when you watch a cartoon, right?
Don't you low key like respond to negative content though? Or are you just trying to clarify narrative? No, I always have tried to use negative commentary as a launch off point to show you where I stand. It's a back and forth, right? To give you my perspective on matters. But unfortunately, people take advantage of that. And that's the only way that they can get my attention. So they go crazy and they just like literally will make fake negative content. And then that launches off into like actual communities of vaccines didn't work for, huh? No, vaccines worked really well, actually. Like, for example, here, I'll give you a great example of this. That person said vaccines didn't work well, huh? I was thinking about this a lot. Vaccines work incredibly well. I often think about what I would be like if I didn't have the vaccines. I'm a healthy person. I'm 30 years old. I work out all the time. I eat clean. And even then, COVID has been like a bit of a slow burn and has made me really fatigued. I feel like if I did not have the vaccines and the booster, holy fuck, it would have destroyed me. It would have pepperonied my ass. And honestly, for that, I'm incredibly and eternally thankful for medical science. It was awesome. Let's continue.
Talking for hours, right? Because I know that I'm not like, I don't have terrible ideas and none of them's gonna slip through the cracks. Oh my god, I'm gonna say this on the stream, right? So I don't have to cover my tracks. I don't have to. Whenever people come up and it's like, oh, I'm gonna pull up this what he said last time.
He doesn't get it.
Got him. I think it's so funny.
Got him.
Because it's just like Keemstar when he pulled out the article and like, dude, we know this. We see
Oh my god,
this.
wait. Can I just say, when you reply
He doesn't get it.
Keemstar,
He's wrong on, okay? It doesn't matter because that he is very lucky to be on the, I guess, right side originally, or still functionally and fundamentally have a community of like people that are right wing that watch him and like him. When you're on that side of the political spectrum, even if you personally, your political beliefs are not there, but people perceive you to be like kind of an edgy person on that side, it literally doesn't matter. Because if someone tries to cancel you, no one gives a fuck on your end. Right wingers don't give a fuck about like someone being canceled. As a matter of fact, they'll reinforce their posture and they'll literally reinforce you. They'll be like, fuck that guy. But also at the same time, you know, even if they're using like your prior things that you've said to try to cancel you, you can clearly be like, look, I'm not this person anymore. You know, I fucked up. We all have, but we're capable of changing, right? And then everyone on the liberal side, for the most part, that isn't like fucking completely brain dead, will see that and appreciate that, right? But because he doesn't have like annoying fucking smarmy leftists in his broadcast, in his audience, they don't turn around and fucking try to cancel him for prior things that he has said. He himself, XQC is not right wing at all, but he has a big right wing audience. So they see him as a fellow traveler, like a like-minded, edgy gamer bro, even if he's not.
Yeah.
you fucking buried him. Like, me and my friends were talking about it like it was a national holiday. Like, guys, today, the gnome's career has ended due to this.
And then
The magnitude of the ratio, I cannot even mathematically calculate. It was just out of this freaking world.
yeah, you get kind of smoked, and then you know what's crazy though? And then they kept bringing more and more. I don't know if you just remember.
No.
He kept doing more tweets about me or whatever.
Really?
But then I didn't reply to any of them because the reality is that the main point is dispelled, right? So whatever he comes with next, I don't. It's the same mentality. People know about this. You're not gonna get me. And
Anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is because, like, yes, that doesn't work if you have like a apolitical fan base, I guess, which ultimately means like you have a lot of fucking right wingers who love you too. You can dispel the main point and then move on. Whereas, like, if you have a leftist fan base, then they will literally take things that you have said 8 years ago and be like, wow, I didn't know about this. What's up with this? And I'm like, motherfucker, just because you haven't been here for like the millionth time that I've addressed this talking point doesn't mean that it still impacts, like, doesn't mean that that's still me right now. You know what I mean? Like, people try to do that all the time. There's like a million different fucking idiotic essayists that are like, look at his older videos or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, dog, you know, like, if I'm 320 pounds in a fucking video that you're showing that and it's 10 years old, you're a psycho for mentioning it. You're a psycho for fucking posting that. You know what I mean? And there are plenty of people who do that. There are people who still do it in the chat. There are people doing it right now. Like, it's very strange. And it does have some staying power because it does have some staying power if we're being honest. Because people fucking people on the left do jump on to it. You know what I mean? People on the left do jump onto it and go, wow, you're not perfect morally. And it's something that I try to address regularly, right? It's something that I try to address, that idea. Not for me personally, but that idea in general since day one. Since day one is something that I have tried to address and be like, you need to stop. You need to stop. When some random 100-follower lifestylist Andy makes some dumbass take from the left and then gets retweeted 5,000 times by neoliberals, you're not being attacked from the left? No, I am. Because for a lot of people, there is no tangible left. So a lot of random people who themselves are lifestylists or themselves are like trying to understand what being a leftist is about, they'll see that and go, what the fuck? Other leftists hate this guy. Maybe I should hate him too. Because they don't have like a foundation. They don't have a good foundation. And it's really difficult. And it's really difficult to build a foundation off of it. Okay? But it's fine, you know. We still champion on and we still move on. It's always important. That's why I always say, just be charitable, just be charitable, just be charitable. Also, the types of leftists who bring those 10 years old clips were themselves fucking Sargon of Akkad fans back then. It's wild how insane the converted zealots are when it comes to proving their bona fides. Like, yeah, I know. I think Swerves are the most dedicated hatred fan base, probably. Let's continue.
It's like this like, you know when you watch a cartoon, right? And then there's like the big guy who's like holding the other guy like this, and the guy's like that, and he can't reach. It's kind of like that, right?
Halt,
yeah.
gnome.
So he got halted once, right? Now if you try again, you're not gonna reach me. It doesn't matter. That's kind of how it is. So that's kind of how I saw it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna keep replying. And people say, you give them clout when you answer. No, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like,
maybe if you answered every single fucking thing, it would be a bit much.
If you answer every time, yeah, you're giving clout and everything. You're just being weird. But if you smoke them once, you're chilling.
Agreed.
So I don't know, but it's why the gnome, it was like a non-issue for me.
Dude, okay. Maybe this is a little spicy to say, because in general, I used to try pretty hard to avoid talking about the gnome because he's just very intense. Like you say,
he's not only intense though.
He holds a grudge against you, and he's like, just starts spewing lies and doing whatever. But I think at this point, you know, I'm trying to take small steps to give less of a shit.
Yeah?
So this is going to be my first step in saying, I am so fucking glad that for someone who tried to cancel me so many fucking times over the last, like, 4
The gnome
years.
is Keemstar. And you know, we, again, Pokemon and myself have, same enemies on the internet, if not identical. It's a 1-to-1, like, it's one big Venn diagram. It's 2 circles on top of one another. With respect to people that are trying to cancel both of us, and they are relentless and they fucking do the exact same shit non-fucking stop, and they're really annoying. And for the most part, I think, and Ethan Klein as well, for the most part, I think like the best situation there, how do I describe it? Like, just not responding is the best thing you can do. And those guys don't even have fucking fan bases themselves. They literally just are launching. They have to constantly spread negativity towards other people because they need anti-Pokemon people from other communities that hate Pokemon to come on and fight alongside Keemstar. That's it. He needs that to maintain his presence. Right? And if there was one person who deserves to be canceled, like straight up, even though cancel culture is not fucking real, it's Keemstar. Holy fuck.
I am happy that I lasted long enough to watch him kind of disappear into irrelevancy.
Yeah, and now all he does is just like a misogynist factory. I'm not gonna say it.
Truly.
That is what I think, though.
Factory,
You know
bro.
when you take a little factory, right, and there's like a chain belt at the back, and he takes a normal user and then makes a misogynist at the end.
Yes!
So what he does every day, and it's just so obvious.
Oh my god.
They're right. Straight up.
He just
He's
tries so hard.
radicalizing the poor little Twitter users.
Yeah, it is what it is, though. And yeah, I think
I
you don't have to
ratioed.
tweet about it
I
every
fucking
time.
ratioed
Just-
Keemstar so much he blocked me, dude. And then I started ratioing him with like you guys, with fans in the chat, and it's
Just
unblock
showing-
me, you fucking gnome piece of shit. I want to keep ratioing him into fucking oblivion.
And once in a while, you know, when he's pointing fingers, just like a reminder.
Just an L nerd.
I ratioed him so
Unironically,
hard
though.
he fucking got out of a relationship.
Nerd.
Yep, and now we're gonna be on the next show.
He's already prepping his tweets and clips.
Ironically, more clout for me. Easy.
True. Oh yeah, okay, something I kind of want to talk about, family stuff. Like, I feel like you don't really talk about.
Okay, so they're done with the Keem shit. Keem has literally survived on hate his entire career. Yeah, I mean that's what his career is built on. Isn't it better to just block and ignore him every time his name is mentioned? I'm forced to think of him. Yeah, I mean it's kind of gross, but it's also like because he's so fucking washed. It's kind of funny to just like shit on him. It's fun. To every time he like tries to peek out of his little fucking hole and like try to throw hatred at someone, it's always fun to just push him back into that hole, you know. He is the cockroach of the internet. Yeah, I mean he will survive nuclear fallout for sure. Check out what Trump said about LeBron. I'll say this to LeBron James. Oh my God. Are you serious? Oh, my worlds are colliding. You're saying Keemstar's the Ted Cruz of... Oh yeah, remember this little gem, dude? When we fucking... I ratioed this motherfucker so hard, he literally made a video on a tractor. Poorly explained Keemstar in this tweet, Keemstar calls out Hasan the hypocrite.
Talking about politics because like literally people are like, okay, whose team are you on? Oh, you're on that team? Okay, I'm on this team. Like literally no one even uses their brain. There's no critical thinking happening anymore. But anyhow, there was a story that I was going to cover in Drama today.
I love when Keemstar's like, there's no critical thinking happening anymore. What the fuck? Brother, you have never thought critically, let alone thought.